Thank you for joining us for the Barbados Today morning news for Wednesday, July 19. I am Marie-Claire Williams. We begin with news that Prime Minister Freundel Stuart is expected to hold another round of talks with the private sector to discuss their concerns over this year's austerity measures. President of the Barbados Private Sector Association, Charles Herbert, told Barbados Today they received confirmation in principle late on Monday, but no date has been set as yet. Herbert says that level heads sitting as a social partnership should be able to come up with the necessary measures that can be supported by the wider community. His statement follows a meeting on Friday with representatives of the 4 major trade unions who are also calling for further dialogue with the Prime Minister. Herbert says his membership is concerned that dialogue appears to have broken down with government. Meanwhile, Commerce Minister Donville Inniss is questioning the motive of trade unions who are pressing for a reduced national social responsibility levy. Government increased the tax by 8% effective July 1st as part of several measures aimed at improving the ailing economy. Last week, the 4 major trade unions staged a march to Parliament where they sought an audience with Prime Minister Stuart and other leaders to outline their concerns. But Inniss tells Barbados Today he does not understand their action as they have already met to outline those concerns to the Prime Minister.
I find it passing strange that you will want now to go and be so militant and give the impression as though the government is not listening, the government is not engaging with you. And then you say, well, remove the national social responsibility levy. I think all of us would like to see a lot of these levies and taxes go away. I can't think of one Barbadian who necessarily enjoys paying a lot of taxes. But of course, I also can't think of a Barbadian who does not want access to good health care, access to good education, access to law and order, and those things as well. As a result, I think most right-thinking Barbadians appreciate that the state has to raise taxes.
Inniss is also accusing the trade unions of not acting in the best interest of the workers.
And a short short, as far as I recollect, back in the 90s, and particularly the National Union of Public Workers. I've always enjoyed great camaraderie with union members and union leaders. But that does not mean that I can't call a spade when I think the union leaders are going astray. And in my mind, not necessarily acting in the best interest of the workers. Now, you march and you get militant because you want government to remove a levy. But there's still great ambiguity as to what the union is proposing as an alternative to the levy.
Opposition MP Dwight Sutherland is calling on government to roll back the increase in the excise tax on fuel. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair announced the tax would rise from 74 to 99 cents on gasoline, and for diesel it would rise from 20 to 44 cents effective July 1st. Government is hoping to raise $50 million in revenue through this increase. But speaking during debate on amendments to the Offshore Petroleum Act yesterday, Sutherland argued that it is unfair for government to raise prices at a time when oil prices are half that of the 2008 figure.
Our citizens cannot afford to be paying such high prices for diesel and gasoline at a time like this. It is impacting businesses, it is impacting the average man in the street, it is impacting our transportation sector. But we have no losses now to speak about. We have no losses to speak about. We have to move swiftly, Mr. Speaker. I'm asking the government to move swiftly and address our transportation sector as it relates to the electric vehicles. There is sufficient studies in this country done by Light and Power to show that we have enough battery power and backup to facilitate at least 15% of our cars being changed into electric vehicles within the next 2 years. These are some of the things we ought to be focusing on, not increasing prices of gasoline at the pump, excise tax from 54 to 98 cents.
The opposition Barbados Labour Party is calling for an immediate crackdown on illegal firearms, saying Barbadians are feeling under siege. The call comes from former Attorney General Dale Marshall in response to Monday night's killing of 58-year-old Colleen Payne of Lodge Hill, St. Michael. She was attacked and shot by two men as she attempted to use an ATM at University Drive, Black Rock, St. Michael. Payne's death brings to 18 the number of murders so far this year, compared to a total of 21 last year. Marshall warns that there needs to be urgent action before another innocent life is taken, and he appealed to government to prioritize the fight against illegal firearms on the streets, as many of the murders being committed involve the use of guns. And Marshall's concerns are being shared by Payne's pastor, Dale Haynes. He told Barbados Today that communities need to work together to address the crime problem.
If we have that outlook where we just want to believe, well, the country got to give us things, or, that we are this entitlement mentality, and also not only entitlement, but also a selfish mentality where that we just want to get things and just live in the now and just don't want to work hard, These are some of the results that can happen. As a church, we got to continue being in the community, impacting lives, and bringing about a new thinking and a new awareness. And but we just have to. Then there's a role for the police to play, and a role for all of us to play, in terms of with the guns, in terms of being our brother's keeper. So we really have to, as a nation and as a society, really be on the vanguard in terms of arresting our community.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Morning, Miss Oya. Morning. You again. So you're washing cars now? Well, I can't keep up with you at all. Yes, girl. They're going provision to selling slow. And I don't sell nation newspapers at all because them don't sell. So I washing cars now. I like to get up before 8:30 because I can't take the hot sun. You want the car wash? No, not today. It clean. But you're going in very early though? Yeah, I just going early so I can read the Barbados Today online before work starts. Right. But you can still let me clean the vendor for the $2. At least it's still cheaper than the nation newspaper. All right. I got a special boo here that I got it shining. Thank you. Enjoy your day here. You too. All right. What that paper is? She can see clearly when the dirt is gone.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We're back now with news from the region. Law enforcement officials in Guyana tell individuals behind the recent fire at the Camp Street prison that they will be found and prosecuted. The warning comes just over a week after the incident in which one prison officer was killed and several inmates escaped. We get more in this report from HGP Nightly News.
Director of Prisons Gladwin Samuels responded to a host of questions pertaining to the entry of contraband in the prison facilities, asserting that every time an inmate leaves or enters the prison, they're checked by wardens. But inmates have been giving the police more work.
They're burying some of the improvised weapons that they have in their possession. So it is difficult for us to conduct those searches in an adequate way because of the resistance we're getting from them. And I'm quite sure that it will not be a sensible thing to provoke a situation upon a situation. So at the appropriate time, the necessary searches will be conducted, and those persons will be rated of all contrabands that they have in possession.
Mr. Samuels explained that the police and other law enforcement agents will continue to stringently monitor the situation.
And finally, the government in Venezuela insists that it will hold elections for a controversial constituent assembly despite the threat of being slapped with sanctions by the U.S. The assembly will have the power to rewrite the constitution and to bypass the opposition-controlled legislature. On Monday, the U.S. President Donald Trump threatened economic sanctions if Caracas proceeds with the Constituent Assembly. Trump also called President Nicolas Maduro a bad leader who dreams of becoming a dictator. But Venezuela's Foreign Minister, Samuel Moncada, dismissed Trump's words as an insolent threat. That's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune into Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good morning.